Welcome to Minity Maths. In this video we will explain how to add and subtract positive and negative numbers. We will also explain the sign rules. We will go through some examples, and there are practice questions and answers at the end of the video. Subscribe to the channel for weekly maths videos. Here we have a number line. Positive numbers are numbers greater than 0. Negative numbers are numbers that are less than 0. Negative numbers will be preceded by a minus sign, whereas positive numbers won't always show the plus sign. So, if a number has no sign before it, it is a positive number. In this video, we will cover 4 aspects: how to add positive numbers, how to subtract negative numbers, subtracting positive numbers, and finally, adding negative numbers. Let's start with how to add a positive number. In this example we are adding a positive 3 to the number 2. Sometimes the number may or may not be shown with brackets. As we are adding a positive number, we are essentially just adding. So the rule is that when we have 2 plus signs together, we can just change this to a single addition sign. So why is this? Imagine you have £2 in your bank account, and you want to add a positive amount of £3 to your account. You are really just adding £3. Let's look at this same example on the number line. We start with the number 2, and we add a positive amount of 3, and end up at 5. Now, let's look at how to subtract a negative number. Here, we are subtracting a negative 3 from the number 1. The rule is, if you are subtracting a negative number, you are actually just adding. Therefore, you can change the 2 signs to an addition sign. This may sound confusing, so let's look at a real-world example. Imagine you have £4 in your bank account, but the bank accidentally takes away £3. So now you are left with £1. To undo their mistake, or in other words, take away their mistake, they have to add £3 back to your account. Hence, the double negative becomes an addition. Let's have a look at this on the number line. We start at 1. And because we are actually just adding the 3, as we are subtracting a negative 3, we end up at 4. Now let's look at how to subtract a positive number. In this example, we are subtracting a positive 2 from the number 1. Essentially we are just subtracting. Thinking of this in terms of money, let's say you have £1, but you want to buy something that is £2. So you borrow £1 of your friend's money. So, you start off with your pound, and use this, along with your friend's pound, to buy an item worth £2. You are taking away a positive £2 from your initial £1 that you owned, leaving you with minus £1. The minus £1 is the pound you now owe to your friend. This can be shown on the number line, where we end up with a negative 1. Finally, let's explain how to add a negative number. Here we are adding a negative 2 to the positive number 2. Again, we are just subtracting 2, which leaves us with 0. This is because a negative and a positive together create a subtraction. If we look at this in terms of money, we start with £2 in our bank. And we want to add information to the bank that we are taking away £2. On the number line, we start at the number 2 and subtract 2, which leaves us with 0. So, what have we learned about adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers? When the signs that are next to each other are the same, we add. When the signs that are next to each other are different, we subtract. Have a go at these practice questions. It may help you to draw out a number line and note down the sign rules when completing questions like this in the future. Pause the video whilst you work them out. Thanks for watching Minity Maths. Subscribe for weekly maths videos.